Hi, I'm Jordan Danae Ellis, and I'm excited to show you a walkthrough of how to get started using Adobe Express. Here we have the homepage of Adobe Express. I'm working on the desktop version, but we also have a mobile app and an app for tablets, so depending on how you like to work, you can choose your own device. As long as you're signed into the same Adobe ID, your projects will also sync across whatever device you're logged into, which is a great way if you like to work on your computer sometimes and your phone sometimes. You can just kind of pick up your project wherever you are. Adobe Express is a part of the Creative Cloud, so if you already have the full Creative Cloud, then Adobe Express Premium will be part of your plan. You can also create a free Adobe ID and use the free version of Express, or you can subscribe to just Adobe Express Premium, and all of that info is right here. So depending on what you want, you can check out the different options, and you can also see what plan you have checking out your Adobe Creative Cloud plan settings. One thing I should say up top is that because Express is browser-based, sometimes the UI changes. So if anything, when you're watching the video, doesn't look exactly like it does in my video, then things have probably just shifted around a little bit. So feel free to leave a comment and I'll help you find it. Or just know that sometimes buttons may shift. We're constantly updating things and trying to make improvements to make this the best app for you. So with that said, let's dive into the homepage. If you haven't seen Adobe Express yet and don't really know what it is Adobe's Create Anything Quickly and Easily app. So the thing that I really love about this is if you don't have a design background, like I don't have a design background, Express is set up to be easy to use. You don't need to know anything coming in, and it's a great way to be able to quickly and genuinely easily make the content that you need to make. But if you are a design pro and you've been creating for a while, you can also use some of the features in Express that are like things that you can do in the Pro Tools in the full Creative Cloud, but it's just kind of a little bit easier in Express. So whether you're brand new to design or you've been doing it forever, hopefully there's a little bit of something for everyone that I will show in this video. So to get started, these 4 pillars here are kind of like the main things that you can do in Express, starting from your own content. So if you're brand new to design, you will probably start from scratch or start from some of the templates in Express, which I'll show in just a second. But what I really love is that if you already have designs that you've made or maybe you've gotten created by a designer, you don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to rebuild everything. You can actually import those projects. So here you can see if you want to import from some other types of files, there are instructions on how to do that here. Or if you're importing from Adobe apps, you can use a PDF, Illustrator file, Photoshop file, or InDesign file and just bring them in and they will convert to Express projects. So if you already have maybe something in Photoshop and you want to use it or you want to share it with someone else and have them be able to edit in Express because it's just easier or they don't want to learn a whole new tool, you can drop those right here or drop them right here on the homepage. So that's a great way to get started, and we'll talk about templates in just a second as well. Next up, there are some generative AI options in Adobe Express. You can use them or not. Something that is really important to say up front is that the generative AI in Express is powered by Adobe Firefly. There's tons of information if you want to deep dive on that at either the Adobe Firefly homepage, or I'm always here to answer questions, so definitely feel free to ask me. But just up front, something that I think is really important to know is that Adobe Firefly is designed to be commercially safe, and a way that Adobe does that is by training the model only on Adobe stock images that we have the rights to train on and open source, open copyright images. So Firefly is not training on your personal projects. It's not training on anything you're working on in the tools, and it's not training on the vast internet. It's only training on a specific set. That's what the model is trained on, and that is the model used in the generative AI in Express. So like I said, happy to answer more questions about that, but just to kind of let you know, anything that you are using Adobe Express's generative AI is going to be built on and powered by Firefly. I'll show a little bit more about that in just a second. Next up, we have quick actions that I think are some of the best features in Express. They're essentially things that you can do in the Pro Tools, but maybe you don't want to power up a whole, product just to do one or two things, or maybe you just want to use them right here in Express in your browser. So there are things like removing the background of a photo, generating a QR code if you're sharing links that way. Maybe you want to convert a video to a GIF. So you can search and explore these quick actions, or you can check them out based on like the type of project you might be doing. So these are the quick actions best for social media. You can search by photos, documents, generative AI. Two of my favorite quick actions are in the video section. One is caption video, which is what it sounds like. It's a way to caption your videos for social or wherever you're posting them. And what I think is great about this in particular is that Express is really great for helping you stay on your own, like stay within your brand guidelines. So if there are specific fonts or colors that you want to use, it's really easy to do that in Express and make the captions look exactly the way you want. So I love this quick action. You can just upload a video, it'll auto transcribe, you can edit as you want, and then you can choose the style of video captions and then like exactly how you want it to look. So I would highly recommend checking that out if you create video. And if you create long form video, this clip maker quick action is super powerful, super helpful. Essentially, if you have a long form video, like maybe you've done an interview or honestly something like this video I'm recording right now, you can drop the entire video here. The other nice thing is it'll work in the background, so you don't have to like sit and watch it work. But Clipmaker will analyze your transcript and then clip your longer video into shorter videos that you can share on social. It's not just going to like randomly clip your video. It's going to look at the transcript and try to pick what it thinks are the most engaging or the most interesting or the most exciting parts of your video. And you can, of course, edit and use exactly, use it the way you want, but you'll get a little paragraph explaining why this part of the video was chosen. They'll be auto-captioned as well. And so this is a really great time saver, especially if you don't necessarily want to sit and rewatch all of your long videos over and over. Using something like Clipmaker just can really help you make the content you need even faster. And of course, it's all fully editable. It just helps you save some time. So feel free to check that out if you like working in long form video. And then the last option here on the homepage is browsing templates. So templates are a core piece of Adobe Express. They're super useful if you aren't starting from your own designs, but you can also just kind of use them as inspiration as well. The templates in Express are all created by the Adobe design team. So they're high quality and they're just kind of nice to like browse for inspiration. So you can search up here in the toolbar, you can scroll down on the homepage. They're also over here in our little menu on the left. So you can access this in a bunch of different places, but browsing templates and working from templates is a great place to get started, especially if you are new to design. Okay, so that is the main part of the homepage. If you want to work on a specific type of project that you already have in mind, you can also work from this little menu up here. So if you want to create like social media or ads, these are everything kind of in one place, like templates and quick actions. We do the same thing with video, photos, documents. You can build web pages in Express. If you want to create and print directly, we have an integration with Zazzle, so you can print your designs directly here in Adobe Express. And then, like I said, if you want to explore more of the generative AI options, you can generate images, remove and add objects to your photos, generate templates, generate presentations, and we have some text effects. So this is a way that you can play around with generative AI and see what that has to offer if you are interested. Okay, so that's the basis of the homepage. In general, things in Express I think are labeled what you think They would be labeled and are pretty easy to find. But as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ping me anytime and I will be happy to try to help. Now let's go through this menu. So we're on the home page here. Your stuff, like I said, is hopefully pretty self-explanatory. This is your stuff. It's where all of your files are. You can organize them into folders. If you're more organized than I am, that's what you would do. I have a lot of free floating files down here, but it's nice that you can kind of keep things cohesive and where you want. You can click back into any of your files to keep editing. You can also search by like, Express projects are very shareable. So if you've had projects shared with you, you can find them that way. You can search by type. You can filter different ways. So there are a lot of different ways that you can lay this out depending on what you are looking for and how you want to use this. There are also projects in Express that are more of like a cohesive collection of everything that you can do in Express. So in this case, this project has a brand set up. Let me find, this project has like a brand, we have a shared calendar, and then some folders and files here. So if you want to build out kind of a bigger project, and especially if you want to share with folks, this is a great way to do that. Your Creative Cloud libraries will also sync into Express. I have tons of demo libraries in here, but if you have some set up, they will be accessible right here in your stuff as well. And then you can save favorites. So these are different templates that I have favorited just by clicking on this little heart. And that is a nice way that as I'm just kind of searching around, I can bookmark my favorite templates so I don't have to like remember how to find them again. They'll always be right here in my stuff. Next up, we have brands. These are super useful. I'm actually going to come back to this and start a project from here in just a second. Templates, this is how to find another place to find all those templates we've been talking about. It's a great place to search if you want to see either free or premium templates. You can also filter by like the type of output, the size, the type, the style, the mood, region. Up here, there are lots of different things that you can explore in Express as well. Stock photos, video, design assets, backgrounds, all of these different types of things. So this Explore Templates page is where you can really see like what is built into Express that you can use in your projects. There is a built-in social media scheduler in Express as well. That is one of my absolute favorite features in Express, and we're gonna come back to this as well. Next up, there's a Learn tab. So if this video doesn't give you enough or you want to keep deep diving, you can always head to the Learn tab and see videos and blog posts and breakdowns of how to do different things in Express. I really like this expert advice tab. This is where some of our Express ambassadors and folks that we work with share their favorite tips, or you can search by what you care the most about. So if you're making a lot of social media content or you want to see how to edit photos here in Express or what's new, what's the latest, this is just a really great place to stay updated. So in addition to my videos, you can definitely come here and check out the Learn tab. And then last up, there are add-ons in Express. This is what it sounds like, a way to add on different features that aren't built into the product. So I like to think of this as a great way to customize your Adobe Express experience. Not everyone is going to use Express in the same way. So if there are some add-ons that help you do your job easier, faster, you can just add them right here and they will be accessible in your projects. So here you can see some are free, some are a part of a plan from, whatever company has created the add-on. And there are all types of things. There are ways to like add different GIFs. There are ways to look at your project and like see where folks' attention will go, get like a read map on them. So depending on the type of thing that you care about working on, you can deep dive into the add-ons. There are tons and tons, or you can just kind of look at the highlights across the top or search for something in particular that you want to work on. So we've covered the home page, we've covered our menu here, and then I promised we would go back to brands and kind of deep dive here. So we're gonna get into a project You could start from a template from any of the places that I've just shown templates. You could also start from a totally blank project just by hitting this plus sign here. But I also want to show how you can use brands as a way to organize your files and then make sure that everything that you're creating looks and feels the way you want it to. I'm not going to explain brands. Probably you all know what they are in general, but it's essentially like the look and feel of your company or organization so that when you put content out into the world, folks can tell that it's from you. And that's how you can build trust. I have a ton of demo brands here because this is what I do all the time. So yours will probably look a little less chaotic than mine. And if it's completely blank, you can create your own brand, which is a great way for you to be able to keep all of this information in one place. So if you already have a business, you may already have some sort of a brand kit set up, or it's really easy to make one and experiment with one in Express. So I'm going to first go for this manual setup here. I will name this demo because this is not going to be a real brand. I'm just going to show you what this looks like. So this is a blank brand. And you can just hit add from here or here and add all the things that you want. So you can add a logo. You can just drop your files here. You can add color palettes, either from swatches or if you already have a color palette. You can add fonts from Adobe fonts, or you can upload your own fonts if you have custom fonts here. This should be synced with the like all of the Adobe fonts that you already have activated in your account, and you can search as well and also look at more. If you have Express templates that you want to add into your brand, you can do that as well. And then graphics, so things like JPEGs, SVGs, PSDs, Illustrator files, and more. This is a great way to be able to put all of the different content that you may need in a brand in one place. So this is what it looks like fully blank, but I will show one that is a little more filled out. Let's go to, this is an imaginary cat cafe, and this brand was created by Kelsey Slay, but this is what it looks like more filled out. So we have all of our logos here, the color palette, different fonts, and you can also delineate a header or body font. In here, you can choose the role of your font. We have some templates saved so that I can just know exactly the types of projects that I'm going to work on and build off of these templates here. And then we have some graphics, and you can also search this way, seeing all the different logo variations, colors, fonts, templates, and then this is different. I think these are all like Illustrator files that Kelsey drew that I can use in Express. So this is what a filled out brand looks like. You can also share your brand with other people. So if you are the designer and you want to share with other folks, or maybe you have an assistant or an intern or a partner, you can share your brand. You can choose like how much access that you want to give. And that is a really nice way to have one person make this once and then be able to share it with whoever you would like. I'm going to go to another brand that I'm going to work off of. This is a travel brand that was created for me to do demos. And same thing, we don't have a logo in this case because it's not a real company. So you don't have to like fully fill out the entire brand. But we have the colors, we have the fonts, a body and a header font. We have some templates saved here and some graphics. So now that I know the brand that I want to work in, let's actually edit something. So I'm going to start from one of the templates here. I think I'll just choose this first one. A travel scrapbook, Instagram reel cover. Sounds great. I want to start a new file. All right, once my template is opened, this is the project editor. So there's a lot going on, but like I said, a lot of things in Express are kind of called what you think they'd be called. So hopefully this isn't too overwhelming and it'll be easy to find exactly what you want. Over on the right, we have layers, which may look familiar if you've worked in Photoshop or Illustrator or other tools that have layers. This is just essentially the order that everything is that everything is appearing on this page here. So like in this case, it's saying like which objects are going to be closer to the top and which are going to be closer to the back. When you first open up a template as well, or you can access it here, there's this quick replace. So this is kind of showing all of the different components in my project here, the text layers as well. So for example, if I knew that I wanted to swap out some of these, or maybe I know that I want this to, instead of saying my trip to Mexico, I want it to say my trip to Italy. Instead of clicking on all of the different layers, I can just click on them here and then choose to replace them or not. So it just kind of gives me an easier, like quick update to my template all in one place. So we talked about layers on the right. Over here on the left, these are most of the editing options. So we have your stuff here as well. So it's going to have, you know, my old files like I showed if I wanted to bring any of those in. It also will have things I've saved to my favorites. And this is a nice feature. If you use Lightroom, your Lightroom photos are also available in your stuff. You can browse all of your Lightroom photos. You can see all of your different albums and things. And again, yeah, all of your photos. So if you want to create with them in Express, you don't have to export them out or do anything like that. You can just find them right here in your stuff. The brands are accessible here as well. So maybe I wanted to drop like a graphic saved from my brand. I already have this one in here, but just to show you how easy that is, we have that right here. I can upload something new. So if I have a specific file that I want to add to this project, I can drag and drop it or upload that here as well. I can look at more templates and see different ideas from other templates. So if I'm working in something and then I want to get some inspiration mid-project, I can do that. The media tab I think is super useful. Adobe Express is integrated with Adobe Stock. So that means these stock assets are already a part of Express. I don't have to separately license them for anything. They're just already here for me. And there are photos, video, and audio right now. So I can search audio tracks, which is really nice because like I said, these are already licensed. So I know that I can use them and I won't get flagged if I post them on social. There are stock videos, which is super helpful. All of these also will have this little crown for premium assets or features. And then if they have nothing, then they're free. So if you have a free account, you can use any of the free assets here. And if you have a premium account, if you have a premium account, you can access the premium as well. And then a bunch of photos. So this is a really nice way to be able to access high quality stock from within Adobe Express. I can add text lockups or just new lines of text. There are built-in elements as well. So similar to having Adobe Stock assets built in, there are things like design assets, backgrounds, shapes, icons, stickers, and these are fully searchable, and you can add any of these to your project as well. If you're doing something a little more analytical, maybe you're making a presentation or some sort of deck, there are charts and tables and grids. These can also be branded, which is really nice. So you can make sure they're in the colors and using the fonts that you want. Like I said, we have this Firefly Generative AI tab as well. And then the add-ons that we were looking at before are also accessible from within your project. So you can still discover all of the add-ons or look through your own. Like for example, I have this like attention insight add-on, which would help me see where my viewers' eye would be drawn. So especially if this was like an ad or some type of marketing material, it might be nice to check that with some add-ons like this. So here are all of the editing options. And then the options across the top are a little more for like productivity. So there are things like resize, which will take this project that is one single size and I can resize it into a bunch of different formats. Maybe I want to make an entire social media campaign. I'll show this in a minute. There are themes. So if I want to just fully change, like I have a branded theme here, but maybe I want to play around with some different options, can do that as well. We'll do some animating. I can change the background color up here, see different safe zones depending on what I want to create. Like maybe I want to make an Instagram story. I can make sure that all the important bits of information are within this rectangle. Next up, we have something like bulk create, which I'll show again in a minute because that's a really fun one. Quick replace is what I showed at the beginning, a way to just kind of swap all of the different layers out at once. And then translate. If I wanted to create a multi-language project, I can translate one or all of the pages into, I think, more than 40 different languages, which is super helpful if you are, again, creating something like a global campaign. That's really nice for that. So I've changed one thing in my template. I have swapped out my trip to Italy. And so let's go ahead and replace this image here. So clicking on the photo, I have a new window has popped up that's given me the different options for editing photos. So I could remove the background if I wanted, use some generative erase or remove object or insert object. I also have adjustments. So if I want to do some photo editing, I can do some like light photo editing here. I can round the corners if I want. Let's see, in effects, this is a really nice way to be able to use some of the Photoshop filters that are in Photoshop, but they're now in Express. So if I want something like, maybe I want it to be a little more vivid, or I want it in black and white, or I want to evoke a certain mood, or I think this golden hour is one of my favorites. You have access to really nice filters in Express as well. And then animation, which I'm going to show again in just a second. Oh, and we can add drop shadows too. So the thing that's nice about this kind of window popping up is that it changes based on what I'm clicking on. So if I click on text, it's giving me different options. If I click on, a photo, it's giving me different options. If I click on a shape or something like that, whatever I can, whatever I have the ability to edit will change here. But what I actually want to do is replace. And I love that this replace option makes it super easy to swap out this photo for a different photo. So I could replace it with an upload. I can pull from my brands or libraries, and I can pull from Adobe stock photo. But the really cool thing, because Express will let me create projects that are mixing different types of media, I can actually replace this photo with a video, which is something I love doing. So I'm going to hit video and open up stock videos because unfortunately I don't have a great video of me in Italy recently. So I'm just going to search for some stock videos here. I like this couple kind of walking, this woman checking her phone. Maybe she's looking for directions. Yeah, we can hover over and see them all. Oh, these are beautiful. Let's just go with our lovely lady here. And look how easy that was to just take the photo in this project and swap it out with a video. I think this is a really fun way to be able to play with like taking static graphics and adding a little something for social. It's just nice to have that movement. But you can do this in presentations, in decks. You can mix in video and movement to your static projects, which is one of my favorite things in Express. And when we add video, we have a timeline and a play button down here. So if I hit edit timeline, I can see now my clip is 13 seconds long, which is the duration of the clip, and I'll hit play. So now we can see our project has a video. The other thing that's nice is that now you can see when I click on this video layer, the editing window is different than when it was a photo. So I can do things like remove the background of this video. I could fill the video so it's playing on the entire screen. I can use enhanced speech. So if there is audio in this and maybe there's like background noise or echo, or it's just like not super clear, I can use some of these pro features right in Express. Play with the volume. Maybe I will speed it up a little bit because it was moving a little slow for me. So we have this slider here, and can still use some of those same effects that we could use on photos on video as well. Okay, so now we have this clip here. We have a video playing, and let's add a little more movement. Let's add some animation. It's really, really nice how straightforward the animation is to use. I can just click on any layer. So in this case, I'll click on this text here, and they all have an animation option. So within the animation, there's animate in, there's a looping animation, and animate out. So maybe I want this my trip to text to kind of fade in or flicker in or typewriter in. I think I like the fade. Actually, I like the typewriter. Let's do that. And all of the animations will also have different settings that are really easy to play with sliders. So in this case, maybe I want it to, that's way too slow, but maybe I wanted to make it slower. You can play with that here. Maybe I want it to come in by the word, or this will be, we only have 2 lines here, but you can kind of choose like how you want this to animate. And again, I really appreciate how easy it is with this slider, because animating is not something that I have a skill in, and so being able to do that really easily is great. You can also play with the timing of things in our timeline here. So maybe I want my trip to, and then I want Italy to show up after that. So here I'm clicked into the to the Italy layer here, and I can drag the timeline for when I want it to like appear in my project. So it won't appear at the beginning and it'll pop in later. Let's see what that looks like. We have these little timing dots. Yeah, actually maybe I want to make it just a little bit later. I can just adjust that. So that's another nice way to be able to play with how things pop onto screen. Let's animate a little more, maybe, and I'm actually going to shorten this video because it's a little long. 5 seconds is fine for this. We're just doing a little recap, but you can make it longer, obviously. Let's grab these 2 stars at the same time, and let's do a different kind of animation. Let's do something like, let's do a loop. We can have them blow around the page. We can have them bob or jitter or spin. I really like this wiggle animation. It's just like a cute little bit of movement. And again, with those sliders, I can change the speed or intensity. So it really gives me like a lot of control in a few super easy clicks. And maybe I don't want them right now. They're kind of moving at the exact same speed. Maybe I want to adjust them slightly differently so they're not like perfectly matched. And then let's do one more thing. Let's have like, this might be a little too much, but I'm gonna do it just to show that we could have things bobbing around as well. So we can kind of have everything moving however we want. This is also a really fun way if you work in Photoshop or Illustrator to be able to animate like specific pieces of your project. This is fun to pull in, like maybe animate a few like details of your illustration, for example. But here we have a video project that is animated. We can layer in multiple videos as well. So maybe I want to grab another video. I really like things like paper texture. So there's this video that I use all the time. Let's grab it. And I'll adjust this to be the orientation that I want and fill the screen, or I could go to video, fill video here. I'm going to show one last trick that I think is really fun. In the opacity options, if you've used Photoshop and you know blend modes, there are blend modes in Adobe Express as well. So not only can I play with the opacity, I could also add a blend mode here and play with the opacity if I want. So I could have my whole video kind of look like it has a little bit of paper texture, which I think is super fun. Let me actually, I'll go ahead and fill the video here. So we have that. and I could play with the timing if I wanted, but I think that's really fun. So you can layer as many different videos as you want. Maybe I want to slow this down a little bit. I can do that. So you can kind of go wild or not, depending on what you're looking for, but I just want to show you the types of options that you have. In the timeline as well, if you wanted to add like another scene, you could do that. And then you can add like transitions between. You can add audio as well, either your own audio, you can record a voiceover, or you can pull in some Adobe stock audio. So you can really build out an entire social video right here, which is awesome. So we have our video now, and let's do one more thing that is something I teased before, which is resize. So this is a video that's set up to be like a vertical video that'd be great as an Instagram story or maybe an Instagram reel, but maybe you're making something and you need it to be a full campaign. With resize, I can choose a custom size, or I can browse the types of the different default sizes that are built into Express. So maybe I want this to be an Instagram square. I think it's already a story, maybe a carousel and a portrait post. And you can kind of choose like as many different ones as you want. We can do stuff for Facebook. If I'm making this into an ad, which doesn't really make any sense, but I'll do it. I'll do it for this anyway. And then when you hit duplicate and resize, it's going to take my project and give it to me in all of these different sizes. So I might still want to go back and adjust. Like in this case, it looks like our backpack went a little rogue, so I'll probably want to grab that and like move it over back to where it was. So you might have to make some tweaks. But clicking on this view all pages, I can now see that my project is all of these different files in one place, which is a nice way to be able to like build out a full campaign at once, which is super helpful. And then from here, I can download everything. So I can download all of my pages, or I can choose the type of file format that I want. So if I want it to be a GIF or a video, or if I didn't add video, I can download it as like a PNG, JPEG, PDF, whatever I need. This is also where I can share. So I could share this project with a friend by typing in their email address. Express has live co-editing, which is really nice. So if I'm working with someone and we both want to work on this at the same time and kind of collaborate, we can do that as well. I could also convert this into a template. So in this case, I was already working from a template, but if I built something out and I want to save it back to one of my brands here, I can write a note about how the template should be used. So maybe it's like, you know, every time I explore a new location, I turn this into a template, and I can add names, or like I can name it. I can add locks. So I can say like, you can not change XYZ layer. I could say you can only use like the brand colors and the brand fonts. We have different like review options in Express. So depending on what you're working with, and if you want to share your work and have it be like locked in any different kind of way, you can do that as well. So this is one type of template. We basically took a static photo template and added some animation, added some video here. But I want to show one last feature in the editor with this bulk create, because I think this is super useful if you're creating something repeating, like maybe you're creating a bunch of different testimonial posts for Instagram, or maybe you have a YouTube channel and you have a bunch of different thumbnails you want to make all at once. So for that, I'm going to start a new project, go to my stuff, go to my favorites here. Let's view all of my favorite templates and open this podcast template. So this is just a template that I would customize, you know, make it a photo of me. But to show this bulk create in this example, say this is my podcast template, and every week I have a new episode name, I have a new episode topic, I have a new date, and I have a new host here. I could go to duplicate and then just make all of those edits manually. But especially if you're doing a lot of different versions at once, I like using this bulk create. So here I can upload a CSV file, which is basically like an Excel export with different columns that have all the information I need, and they will manually import into the designs for me. So I will browse the CSV file that I want. In this case, it is a list of different podcast components. So we have 3 columns: episode number, topic, and our guest. So I want to open this here. And now I can map that CSV file to the different components here. So the first thing I know that I want to change is the episode number. So I'm going to click on episode here, this layer, fresh episode, connect that to the episode number. Next, I'll hit topic. So we're on that layer, connect that to our topic column, and then our guest. Click on this layer, connect that element to our guest, or in this case, it's just who it's with. And when I hit next, it gave me all of those different pages. So I have all of my first 6 episodes with the titles and with my guests, and then create those pages. So I may, similar to resize, have to tweak it a little bit. Maybe like I want to adjust this so it's more centered, or yeah, I'll do that for this one as well. Or maybe like if the name is a little too long, I could adjust the sizing here. But it's, again, similar to resize, a really nice way to at least help you get that done a little bit faster, and then you could always go in and tweak it, but it just helps you get the work done that you need to get done using these nice little tricks like bulk create. Okay, so now that I have this project finished, like I showed before, I can download this in whatever format I want, or download all of the pages together. But I want to show one last feature that I love in Adobe Express, which is schedule post or share to social. These are both going to open the social media scheduler, and I love this feature. It's a totally free feature, so you can play around with this even if you aren't using a premium account. That's okay. You can still use this. And it does exactly what you think. It automatically schedules it to social for you. So if you have the problem I have sometimes, which is that you make all this content and then don't actually share it, this is a really nice way to be able to work with that. So at the moment, the social scheduler connects with Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Pinterest. And to connect your own, you just open connections and sign in. It's pretty straightforward. In this case, maybe I'll do Facebook and Instagram here. For Instagram, you can choose the type of post. Same thing with Facebook. You can write your own caption, or if you would like some help, there is a built-in caption generator, which I like to use as like a first draft, and then I go make sure that it actually sounds like me. But just to show what this looks like, maybe I'll type in something like, "Don't miss episode 2 of my latest podcast interview series. I'm talking to Katrina Torrijos about," let's do about Adobe Express, something like that. That's actually the type of caption I would just leave it at that. But if I want to zhuzh it up a little bit, I can generate a new caption, or even just like rewrite it, shorten or lengthen it. I'll generate something new. This is, again, just kind of something to help me get started. I like this. Episode 2 is here with like a longer paragraph. And if I like it, or I can, try it again or insert it and then make any edits. So like, I probably don't want these hashtags, and I'll just go ahead and get rid of that. Like I said, I would go through and make sure that all this info is right, and also rewrite it in my own voice a little bit, but it's just a nice way to give you that little head start. You can leave a first comment on Instagram, and then this is the important part where I can set it as a draft or just have it auto schedule. So I could publish now or choose the time and date. Maybe I want this to go out later in the week. at like 8 a.m. And that's all I have to do. I will add this as a draft and it will head to my calendar. So I can access the calendar from this little pop-up, or I can go back to the home page and go to the schedule option here to see the calendar. And this is the Adobe Express content calendar. So right now I'm in August. I can scroll forward and back to see, things I've already posted or see what I have scheduled. The thing that is nice about this as well is if you want to add something that isn't just an Express project, you can just hit new post and then fill out all of this and just drag the content that you want. And here is the post that I just made. So I can click back into it and like make any edits that I want. Maybe I actually want both of the posts to go out on Saturday instead, or maybe I want them to go out on different days. And when you have this fully filled out, you can see your full content calendar, which is really nice. Up here on the left is this post ideas. So maybe you have like an idea of something that you want to post someday, but you're not totally sure when, and you don't want to commit to a time and day. You can just kind of leave your post ideas here, which I think is great. It's such a nice way to be like, I don't want to forget to post this, but I don't have time to maybe fill out the whole thing right now. You can do that there. There are also some different options you can filter on and off. So you can see the type of post, you can see the channel. And these two things down here, I usually leave them both on, but you can search the built-in events and the built-in post suggestions by Adobe Express, or you can turn them on and off. So the events are things like, August doesn't have a lot of holidays. Let me go back. You can see that like Independence Day is in July, and you can automatically go in and like see different templates for that holiday. And then the post suggestions I love. There are things like sometimes you just don't know what to post and you can Google post suggestions, or you can just come in and see this 3-day-a-week content schedule and base your schedule off of the things that make sense. So maybe you want a how to get started post talking about how you started in your industry, top 5 tips, behind the scenes, a creator spotlight, just different ideas. So again, if you get stuck on content, this is always here for you as a thing that you can, again, filter on and off, but it's a nice way to just get some ideas if you're ever stuck. Lastly, there is an add-on called Metricool that you can see your analytics. There's a free version of that as well. So if you want to see your analytics within the Adobe Express calendar, that is a super nice way to be able to see how your content is doing and then remake more content like the things that did well before, or look at how you're doing and like make pivots or just see what your audience is reacting to. So that is an overview of Adobe Express. Oh yeah, if you click into this, you can see other web-based tools at the top that you can access with your Adobe account. But that is an overview of Adobe Express, from building your brand, building out a project, adding in things like video and animation, scheduling it to social, and then a few other really fun things you can add to your workflow. So Express is changing all the time. I'm sure I'll do an updated video soon. But if there's anything that you would like more info on, I'm always happy to make more tutorials. So definitely let me know in the comments what you'd like to see more of. Reach out to me anytime at Jordan Danae Ellis. I'm here for you to help you get started. So I hope this was helpful, and have fun playing around with Adobe Express.